The ANC's Gauteng Provincial Elective Conference is officially underway. David Makhura addressed delegates for the last time as the organization's provincial chairperson. The ANC's provincial executive has reported back on the final word regarding quarantined votes from the Ekurhuleni Regional Conference. There's been suggestions that the matter should be dealt with by the PEC that will emerge from this conference. ENCA reporter Lindo Kuhle has been following the conference for us and he joins us now live. Lindo, what did David Makhura touch on in his parting address?
Well, David Makhura touched on many issues that are faced by this particular province. It ranges from the fact that they are losing the grip in terms of the voters that have been supported them. It also goes into speaking about governance issues, speaks about, people that would be in the struggle basically to benefit themselves, people who are self-serving within government positions, basically telling people to just shy away from doing these things if they are to see this organization return to its glory days. Those are some of the words that were shared by Premier David Makhura, who's also the ANC chairperson or an outgoing ANC chairperson in Gauteng. But he gave a 2-hour speech in terms of what are some of the things that this particular conference needs to achieve, saying that it's not just about electing new leadership. In fact, it is about some of the resolutions that they need to take after reflecting in terms of where society is as far as Gauteng is concerned, what they need to do to improve the lives of people, also putting in things like the fact that there is a pandemic that we've experienced, and he says that moving forward there is bound to be more pandemics that we'll be dealing with, but he says that there needs to be better ways in which we deal with it rather than collapsing an economy that is already fragile. So a lot of things have been said by Makhura. I'm trying to capture all of those, but he did have about 2 hours to actually speak about these things. But essentially he spoke about the fact that despite this being a highly contested elective conference of the ANC, he says that he believes that the ANC, whoever wins or whoever emerges as the new leadership of this particular province, that it will emerge victorious. He says that there needs to be a forging of unity, and that is the only way that they'll be able to emerge victorious. And emerging victorious is in terms of the long term, meaning that they need to be able to regain the ground in terms of voters and actually encouraging those that have stayed at home. A lot of things that he said, but take a listen to what he believes will be the outcome ultimately of this particular conference because of the way it started.
As I deliver this report to you, comrade delegates, I am absolutely confident, without any doubt, that the ANC in Gauteng will emerge from this conference with a leadership, I have no doubt whatsoever, with a leadership that's going to move our province to the next level. I have absolutely no doubt at all. So in that sense, this conference is going to be a festival of ideas, not a festival of chairs, not a festival of insults, a festival of ideas amongst comrades sent by branches to come here and make sure the key issues of where they come from are on the table and in the resolutions, and they go back and report that we have made sure that the problems of the West Rand, the problems of Sidibeng, the problems of Tshwane, the problems of Ekurhuleni, and the problems of Johannesburg have been on the agenda of the conference of the ANC. So we are meeting, therefore, in Gauteng in a very dynamic, evolving situation. The global situation that's evolving is very dynamic. The continent is going also through a set of interesting dynamics, and both our nation and our province are also going through several dynamics.
Lindo, I can imagine it must be very difficult condensing a 2-hour speech, but tell us specifically what Makhura had to say about dealing with the country's social ills.
Well, he did speak about the fact that it is up to the ANC to renew itself, to be a party that people can recognize as one that they can trust. And he says that it begins with ending all of these conferences and getting back to the ground to actually listen to people, to deliver services where they are still governing, and to achieve all of those things that they had inconsistencies with when it comes to achieving this. But one of the things looking forward, he also spoke about the fact that this should be a festival of ideas and not just an elective Elective conference to elect new leadership and be done with. He spoke about the fact that there needs to be better ways in which we are dealing with some of the pandemics. We know that there was an announcement of some viruses that are going to continue to come to the shores of the country and in fact internationally. So he speaks about pandemics, he speaks about epidemics, to say that we cannot continue to have our people suffer when it comes to pandemics and epidemics. He says that there needs to be a way in which we adapt to this. Yes, we were caught by surprise in terms of COVID-19. It was a learning curve, but he speaks about the fact that in future the governing party needs to be able to deal with these issues better so that they cushion and protect the society in general. And he says this is one of the things that despite the fact that it is a pandemic, despite the fact that it is a disease or it is a virus, but at the end of the day they will be judged with in terms of saying how do they deal with these issues, because these are some of the realities that we are bound to face in the future. So he says that they need to think futuristically, they need to be able to cushion society in the future when it comes to issues like that. But not just that, climate change as well are some of the things he spoke about. But take a listen to what he said specifically when it comes to dealing with pandemics and epidemics.
Now we know with COVID-19, the world was shut down. Pandemics can affect the entire humanity, regardless of where you are located, regardless of what you think are the strength of your healthcare system. We have seen it with COVID-19. Pandemics pose an existential threat to humanity. And scientists are saying we are going to have more pandemics. The likelihood of the outbreak of more pandemics, including as a result of climate-induced pandemics, is going to be more frequent. So, which means we need to build institutions, communities, government, including businesses that are pandemic-proof, and we need to build our society to be pandemic-ready all the time. As I said earlier on, we have just been dealing with COVID-19, and now here comes monkeypox. So pandemics, we must deal with pandemics on an ongoing basis. We must be ready to deal with them at all times without shutting down our economies, without shutting down everything, and understand that pandemics are going to be there more frequently. So we need institutions, we need capabilities of all our systems to respond to pandemics more rapidly.
Thank you very much, Lundokutla Kulu, coming to us from Benoni at that conference, and we'll carry on catching up with him throughout that conference throughout the weekend. The motions ran